The best VR headsets in 2024. The best VR headsets for your needs, tested by us. The best VR headsets are a captivating gateway into an entirely fresh and intimate gaming experience, especially if it's your first time checking out the immersive tech. Now, there are more products than ever to choose from, so you're bound to find something to suit your setup and gaming space. That said, we've gone ahead and narrowed down our top picks to make the decision even easier for you in this video. Virtual reality tech is only becoming more impressive, which is something the best VR headsets are sure to showcase. Especially with the release of the esteemed PSVR 2 earlier this year, and the imminent launch of Oculus Quest 3, more players than ever are keen to get hold of the hardware, and some of the best VR games which typically retail for less than more traditional releases. We're not going to sugarcoat things, however. VR is a relatively expensive hobby, and individual headsets can cost as much as, if not more than, the best gaming consoles and PCs. We've endeavored, then, to pull together a range of products that stretch across every platform and budget scope, including alternatives for people who want to cut the cables and go entirely wireless. Number 1. Best Budget VR Headset, MetaQuest 2. The MetaQuest 2 is still a fantastic choice for buyers who want to take their first step into the world of VR. It is missing some of the features from the Quest 3, such as full color pass-through, and that powerful Snapdragon XR2 chipset. But this headset is still compatible with a ton of apps and games. As someone who isn't naturally drawn to VR, and hasn't really gamed since my teenage years, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the MetaQuest 2. The headset and its controllers are extremely easy to use, making this product feel accessible to even those who aren't super tech-savvy. I also appreciate how there's a wide variety of games and apps to choose from, so there's really something for everyone, whether you're trying to work out, learn something new, or immerse yourself in a game. I played a few games and they were fun and exciting, says one tester. Not only are you fully immersed, but you actually need to move around and duck. I haven't yet tried anything fitness-related, but I see how this could really work. Sherma points out that because the MetaQuest 2 always connects to an app on your phone, purchasing and downloading games is seamless. The MetaQuest 2 is also wireless, unlike other VR headsets, which makes moving around freely possible. Speaking of moving freely, I was impressed by the play area you create via a built-in camera and controller before you're able to use the MetaQuest 2. Thanks to this feature, you shouldn't bump into anything by accident, and you can see your surroundings the moment you step outside of it. Personally, this made me feel comfortable moving around in my space. If you're willing to invest time and money into the games and experiences that you'll find on the MetaQuest 2, then it can absolutely be worth it. While I do think VR technology still has a long way to come, I'll admit that I found this headset super fun to play games on, though I can't see myself using it for streaming movies or shows. Nevertheless, I'm excited to test the next generation of the MetaQuest and see what improvements Meta has in store. Number 2. Best VR Gaming Headset, PlayStation VR 2. Sony's new PSVR 2 is arguably the best wired VR headset, given it has a plethora of high-end specs, including a brilliant OLED display. But it sits behind the Quest 3 because it requires a PS5 to work and is limited to the PlayStation ecosystem. Plus, the gap between the Quest 3 and PSVR 2 is much smaller than the gap between the Quest 2 and the PSVR 2 thanks to a new processor and display on the Quest 3. Still, the PSVR 2 is excellent, especially for gaming. The headset is comfortable with just a relatively slim but sturdy cable that connects it to the PS5. The screen is excellent with impressive pass-through capabilities and 4K resolution. Plus, there's 3D audio support and easy buttons for adjustment. But the real ace in the hole is the Sense controllers. These are not only rather comfortable and good at tracking, but they also have excellent haptic feedback, an area where other VR headsets are lacking. And thanks to being in the PlayStation ecosystem, there are exclusive games like Horizon Call of the Mountain, and the ability to play Gran Turismo 7 in VR. Combined with the VR tech, the PSVR 2 is one of the very best virtual reality systems you can buy today. In contrast to the OLED panel included in the original PSVR, the PSVR 2's 4K HDR OLED panel offers richer colors and up to a 120Hz refresh rate, making even less visually detailed games come to life. The screen door effect was never an issue with the PSVR, and it isn't here either, but with proper IPD calibration, you can now tactically eliminate glare as well. The fact that you're encompassed by 110 degrees of scenery at all times makes VR all the more lifelike. That's 10 degrees wider than the original PSVR, and it's a significant difference in how much of the world around you is visible. It's still a bit like wearing a scuba mask, but it's a bigger, less claustrophobic scuba mask. Simply put, the PSVR 2 is by far the most gorgeous headset in the $500 price range. The PSVR 2's access to the PS5's graphical horsepower allows its games to vast draw distances, much like their flat-screen counterparts, and there's no better demonstration of this than in Horizon Call of the Mountain. You can see fully simulated mechanical creatures running around across the map, contrasted against cascading waterfalls and picturesque mountaintops reflecting light in the distance. Similarly, Cities VR Enhanced Edition allows you to build urban sprawls that truly come alive from a distance, and now you can see all of it, all at once. Number 3. Best Virtual Reality Headset, HTC Vive Pro 2 Headset. Doesn't come cheaply, but if you're after the very best in PC VR visual fidelity, the HTC Vive Pro 2 should sit near the top of your list, thanks to its borderline absurd 5K resolution. Just make sure you've got a seriously powerful PC to make the most of this admittedly experimental headset. It's admittedly difficult to recommend the Vive Pro 2 as a commercial headset. The wired headset requires several cables for it to function properly, meaning managing it as part of your PC gaming setup can be stressful. Plus, all that power means it can start to run hot after just a short session, so we'd say it's best enjoyed in shorter bursts. If you can get past some of the comfort and heat issues we experience with the Vive Pro 2, you'll be able to enjoy an unparalleled VR experience from a visual standpoint. The high-resolution screen and fast refresh rate is jaw-dropping, with an incredible sense of presence and realism able to shine through on the headset. Provided you've got the high-end PC to power it, it really is the very best-looking VR headset you can use at home. We regularly wax lyrical on the likes of Half-Life Alyx and Lone Echo in VR circles and, as you'd imagine, these sorts of titles enjoy an additional sense of polish, fidelity and atmosphere through the combination of the Valve's class-leading optics and audio. But what was even more striking was going back to earlier VR titles and seeing them benefit from an upscaled resolution. For instance, the environments in Batman Arkham VR appeared far more detailed than remembered, with Wayne Manor, the Batcave and the assorted crime scenes oozing with gothic wonder. As anticipated, however, it's hard to go back to HTC's wand controllers after spending extended time with the wonderfully ergonomic Oculus or Valve Index options. At around 5 hours of play, the battery life of the controllers could be better, too. There's a huge amount of games available to Vive Pro 2 players through the Steam storefront, while HTC offers its own store with its Viveport. Half-Life Alyx, Superhot VR, Beat Saber and The Room VR represent just a taste of what's on offer. It also offers an all-you-can-eat Viveport Infinity subscription, opening up unlimited access to a number of big titles for a monthly fee. Note there are also unofficial workarounds that can be found online to access games pushed through the Oculus storefront too, though neither Oculus owner's Facebook nor HTC officially supports them. Number 4. Pimax Crystal Sim VR Headsets. The Pimax Crystal is a powerful and well-designed PC VR headset, featuring some impressive hardware and stellar visuals. However, the incredibly high price tag and underwhelming all-in-one mode hold it back from greatness. When it comes to PC VR, though, the Pimax Crystal truly shines in supported software, especially when booted up in Steam VR. While the headset essentially emulates the Valve Index for usability, the user experience overall is truly top-tier. The resolution of 2880 by 2880 pixels means that the games tested, including the groundbreaking Half-Life Alyx, were exceptional. Where I've previously had tunnel vision or felt disconnected from VR environments, using the likes of the MetaQuest 2 and the older Oculus Rift S, this was not the case with the Crystal due to how sharp and detailed the textures were. There were times when I was left speechless reaching out into the world. This is bolstered by the excellent audio quality of the DMAS off-ear headphones, which added an immersive and accurate surround sound experience. I could hear everything from the whirling of space ace ships flying through the sky right down to more subtle noises, such as a can being kicked over or footsteps from behind a closed wooden door. It all sounded incredibly real. I have never experienced audio of this quality from VR, and it would even rival some of the best gaming headsets. Ultimately, the PIM-X Crystal is incredibly powerful, and offers the best visual and audio fidelity you can get right now, but you're paying a premium for the privilege. It's why it is a hard sell to all but those enthusiasts who want top-end performance. As for everyone else, you're better off with something with a more aggressive price-to-performance ratio like the Valve Index or something standalone like the MetaQuest 2. Number 5. Best VR headset overall, MetaQuest 3. The MetaQuest 3 succeeds its predecessor and provides a much improved VR experience. Relatively affordable and compatible with existing Quest game libraries, it's an easy recommendation as our best pick. The MetaQuest 3 is the new king among the best VR headsets you can buy today. A significant improvement over the MetaQuest 2, and coming in at a relatively affordable price point among other headsets in this list, it's easy to recommend as our top choice, whether you're upgrading from prior hardware or diving into VR for the first time. The MetaQuest 3 is impressively compact, requiring no extra cameras or wires during play. It can be played as an entirely standalone experience, free from cables or extra bits that could run the risk of tripping you up. All the headset's features can be accessed while wearing it, too, including its home and storefront, providing a seamless experience that doesn't require you to take the headset off. The MetaQuest 3 is undoubtedly the best VR headset I've ever tested. Is the first line of our review of Meta's latest VR headset. It improves on the Quest 2 in just about every way, including a brand new Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 processor, and twin LCD lenses that offer 2K resolution, in each eye for a combined 4K resolution. That said, it's still not perfect. The battery life did not impress us. We managed to kill the battery in just under 2 hours. And while the full-color pass-through thanks to the 2 RGB cameras and depth projector is impressive, for a headset build as a mixed reality headset, there isn't a lot to try out in mixed reality yet. Despite these shortcomings though, the Quest 3 is still the top choice. Its improvements over the Quest 2 make choosing the older Quest headset a poor choice unless you're looking for something truly entry-level. And while the PSVR 2 is more powerful and has eye-tracking features, the resolution upgrade on the Quest 3 really bridges the gap.